Lovelies, and welcome to Crystals and Coffee. Thank you for joining me. Um, Hi. It's been a few weeks since I've sat down behind my microphone and recorded a podcast. So thank you for being patient and for tuning back in. Or if you're brand new here, hi, I'm Katie. Um, it's been a very up and downy few weeks. Mostly on a personal basis, lots of things kind of life just throws you some curveballs sometimes, doesn't it? And sometimes you have to reschedule and reprioritize some things. So that's why there hasn't been an episode for a couple of weeks now. And then last week was half term, so I took the week out. My boys were off school. And then I was planning on getting stuck back into everything on Monday just gone. Beginning of November, new month, sort of get started. But then last Saturday, it was announced that we were going back into a second lockdown on Thursday the 5th, which then meant that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week then had to get things done. There were people I wanted to see before I wasn't able to anymore. As of I'm recording this Thursday the 5th, so we've gone into lockdown today. And yeah, so the last 3 days didn't get anything done work wise because, again, curveball, reprioritize. I had my sisters to see, I had my grandparents to see, I had my best friend to see. Because now we're not allowed to mix, we're not allowed in each other's houses, we're not allowed in each other's gardens, and we can only meet up with one other person outdoors at the moment for the next month till December 2nd. So yeah, that took precedent this week. So today is the first day that I've been able to focus because I have got nowhere else to go because everything is closed. And I've already done my food shopping, so don't even need to go to the supermarkets, which is one of the very few things that's still open. Good thing though, I think this time around going into this lockdown is that the schools are open. So my boys won't be affected hardly at all by this one. I mean, they're not going to be able to have their friends around after school. They're not going to be able to hang out or play outside with their friends for a few weeks. But as the weather's getting worse and worse, maybe that again won't make such a difference this time around. Fingers crossed. So at least they have a bit of normality because that was one of the biggest upsets, I think, when we were going through the whole 6 months worth of measures and schools closing. So I don't know where in the world you are listening from, whether you are in the UK, you're around the world. We've all got different restrictions at the moment. I'm not sure that there's any country that, well, there might be a few countries actually. I think Australia and New Zealand, I think, have done really well and they've got rid of cases, so they've been able to open back up. But in general, there's a lot of restrictions still out there, and we're all dealing with restrictions on our everyday life, and it becomes some of it might feel like it's become a new normal, but whether we are conscious of it or not, I think it has an effect on our energy, on our spirit, on how we feel day to day, how we approach things day to day. It might have changed your perspective, might have changed your mindset, your attitudes towards certain things. It may have exacerbated issues that you were dealing with in the first place, such as anxiety or depression. Um, Clearly would not have been helped by everything that's happened this year. I know my anxiety certainly hasn't, and that's another reason the last couple of weeks where I've not been as present as I have been, because I've been trying to look after myself as well. It's something that I talk about an awful lot, and I need to practice what I preach. I need to follow my own advice, which is usually the hardest advice to follow, is your own advice. So that's what I basically wanted to talk about today. Was, like I said, we've gone into this new lockdown today, and yes, it's not as strict as the last one, but it still feels the energy today. I'm very sensitive to it anyway, particularly if you're an empath. You'll be able to appreciate that you can sense even very minor changes in energy levels, and sense what's going on around you. And as much as, like I say, it's not as strict, there definitely seems to be an era of an air of stillness. I mean, I'm looking out my window now, and the world just seems very, very still today. I mean, there's barely even a breeze, which is bizarre because the last few days has been proper stormy. It's been really windy, it's been raining, it's been freezing cold. We've had a bit of everything this week already. And looking out the window now, the leaves on the trees aren't even moving. It's like someone's taken a photograph. It's still. It's like as if, you know, it's known that today is different around here. It's changed the aura of things greatly, because it brings it all back home again. As much as we've been trying to get back to normal, we've been doing things. I mean, albeit with masks on and keeping our distances, and schools having lots of different restrictions. Like there's 3 different pickup times, 3 different drop off times. The kids aren't allowed to mix in schools and all that kind of thing. We've kind of tried to take it in our stride, and we've gone along, and that's it. But then when you've got something like this comes again, where they've said, right, we're going into another lockdown, and lockdown begins today, it brings it all home that we really haven't progressed very far at all since this all started. And if you dwell on it, it's really quite sad to think about, because there's been an awful, awful lot of loss of life, a lot of illness, a lot of indirect illness. And yeah, it just brings it all home. And I think that's one of the major reasons why energy feels off today. So, as much as I wanted today to be a throw myself into my work, really need to get catched up. Catched up. That's not good English, Katie. Caught up. To get caught up on things, I wanted to record. I wanted to get some podcasts in the bank the next couple of days. I wanted to get some videos in the bank the next couple of days. And you know what? My energy levels and how I feel is not feeling it. It's not, and I understand that I'm in a very fortunate position where I can rejiggle my work like this. But even if you aren't necessarily in complete control of your own schedule or your own duties that you need to do, what I want to say is basically, if you don't get every single thing done on your to-do list today, don't beat yourself up about it. If you're feeling the shift in energy about lockdown today, or for example, over in the US, there's the whole election thing is still going on. It's still so up in the air. It could probably be causing an awful lot of stress for an awful lot of people. Try not to beat yourself up today if you don't get every single thing done. There's always tomorrow. You can always spread it out. There may just prioritize the things that you have to get done, get them done. But there are other things, it's okay to just take a step back and look after yourself. That's paramount at the moment for everyone, is to look after yourself. There's so much negativity swirling around the world at the moment that you owe it to yourself to not get caught up in it, and look after yourself, look after your immediates. And that's all your focus needs to be, is get your essentials done and just take care of yourselves. And that is basically what I'm following today and tomorrow. I'm recording this for you guys now, so this can go out tomorrow, so I'll be back on track. And then when I'm feeling a little bit more settled next week, then I can do all of those extra bits that I wanted to do. But right now, it's okay to do just enough. It's totally fine to give yourself permission to do just enough, just what you need to do, and then take some time and just take things slowly and steadily. It's okay to do that. And if you can get into the habit of allowing yourself that permission, then you'll be all the better for it, because unfortunately there's no end in sight to the pandemic. There's no end in sight from a lot of things that are a lot of unrest that's going on all over the world. It's just, and if you kind of think about it as though it's never ending, it's going to be very overwhelming, and you may become stagnant and not be able to do anything at all, much less your essentials. And that's when we get into a real negative rut, a negative cycle of behavior, and we just end up feeling worse and worse, and it gets all the harder to get out of. So if you can start as you mean to go on and look after you and yours, do the right thing by you and yours, do what you need to do, and just take care of each other and take care of yourselves and communicate and make sure you're all on the same page. And in the long run, and even actually in the immediate short term, that's great for you because you're giving yourself a break, you're releasing some pressure. And in the long run, that's good for you as well, for your long-term mental health, your long-term physical health. And it's a good attitude to be able to have when things feel like they're not quite right, or things are going off course, as things do, especially this year. I mean, I don't think a single plan I've made has come to fruition how I thought it would, if at all. So I mean, a lot of those things are very, very first world issues, but there were still my issues. There were still things that I wanted to get done. There were still things that I wanted to move forward with, and it hasn't happened. If you've been listening for a long time, you'll know that it's been over a year now. I've been trying to sell my house, and it's still on the market. It still hasn't sold. It's probably been one of the suckiest years I could have decided to try and make a cross-country move. So now we're in lockdown, of course. All the agents are closed. There's not going to be anybody coming to see my house now for at least a month. And then we'll be in December. Very unpopular time for people to be buying houses. So the chances there are really quite slim. So I've had to kind of accept to myself now that it's completely out of my control, and this is not going to happen now. I am not going to move now until next year. Even if we sell the house in December by what feels like would be a miracle right now, I ain't going to move this side of Christmas. So there's no need so I'm allowing myself to let it go. I'm not going to stress about it now. At least on the upside of that, I know that I'm going to be in this house for Christmas, so I can plan Christmas. Before, I was in a bit of a limbo. I didn't know where I was going to be, didn't know what plans I needed to make, but now I'm going to be here for Christmas, so this is the plans I'm going to make. So if you're able to allow yourself to accept that things aren't going to go as you planned them, and take them for how they are right now, because none of us know what's going to happen, how this is going to develop, whether or not we're going to be in more lockdowns, or how long it's going to be, or how long we're going to have restrictions for. If you can focus on the here and now and what matters now, then things will again become a lot less overwhelming, and you'll be able to deal with things piece by piece and trying not to look too far ahead. And that is a lesson that has taken me pretty much the entire year to learn, but I got there in the end. And it does, when you can get to that point, it does feel a lot better, but it takes practice. I'm not saying you're just going to be able to flick a switch and feel better about things, but if you can start little by little by doing things that you know you have to get done, allowing yourself some slack on some of the extra things that can be rejigged, and taking some time to take care of yourself and those close to you, and vice versa, have them take care of you too, as well as themselves. So communication is also key, particularly at a stressful time like it is now. Then you'll be set for a lot calmer journey through all of this mess, for want of a better word. It's all I can think of when I think of what's going on in the world right now. It's just mess. But I can't control that, but I can control what happens for me and my boys, and that's what matters. So take that attitude with you today. If you're feeling unsettled, if you're feeling wobbly that we've gone into another lockdown, or you're feeling wobbly about restrictions in your country or wherever you are, or what else is going on, that just feels like it's just one thing after another, just take a step back and just focus from the inside out instead of all of that external things. If you have to, delete news apps off your phone, stop news notifications, or just maybe just want to watch the news, because it's nice to be up to date and know what's going on, but not have the news on all the time. It's quite tempting to watch rolling coverage that's going on and on and on, but it's not necessarily the best thing. So if you can turn it off for a few hours and just turn off the chatter and the negativity, maybe for you that's social media as well. I've had to come off of unfollow a lot of people and a lot of brands and things, and news outlets, because it's just constant overblown negativity, and it gets too much for one person. It really, really does. But you can control that. You can control those things that are going on close to you, and that's what you need to focus on right now. So I hope that maybe I've resonated with some of you today. Maybe we're feeling all a bit up and down, all kind of a bit mixed up, and just know that you're not alone. I, for one, am definitely feeling like that, and I can guarantee you thousands and thousands of other people are feeling the exact same way. Either whether they're aware of it or not, energy is different today. We're all going to be feeling it. Don't beat yourself up about it. That won't do you any good. It won't do those around you any good. It's just about giving yourself some slack. No one could ever have thought about what's happened this year, and it's just, do you know what? I can't even think about it too much anymore. It's mind blowing about the things that have happened this year that would never take us back a year ago. Who would have thought it? And it's those kind of thought processes, and then you go down a bit of a rabbit hole that kind of get you overwhelmed. So it's just, if you feel like you're doing that, like I was just then, mentally take a note to stop yourself, distract yourself with something nice, just take some time out and focus on what's important to you, who's important to you, and take it from there. So I hope you found that helpful. Sorry if it felt a bit waffly today, but I just wanted to break myself in, get back behind my microphone, and just chat to you about how I'm feeling right now. And podcasts, unless something incredibly drastic happens, we'll be back to being every Friday now, as well. And just take care of yourselves and take care of each other and stay safe. And I will speak to you all again very soon. And yeah, take care, guys. I'll speak to you later. Bye.